As a Muslim, one understands that the Quran was not a mere book meant to encompass one time and place, but a book for all time and for all humanity. Keeping this in mind, the question will come up: who are the people of the Pharaoh today?
The Freemasons are the connective tissue that have carried ancient knowledge all the way through the centuries up into the modern secret society.
The structure by which the world is controlled by a few people, literally a handful at the very top, is like Russian dolls, one doll inside another, inside another, inside another. I call this web in which they all fit the Illuminati, the illuminated ones, illuminated into knowledge that the rest of us don't get. And that Illuminati has been manipulating for centuries to bring about what is now appearing before our eyes.
It has been explicitly evident that there has been a special group that has adopted the system of the Pharaoh and carried it throughout history until this very moment.
With some of the most famous people in the world today, you find that their rituals are an absolute mirror of the ones that were carried out in Babylon, in Egypt, and the ancient world in general. It's an unbroken span of manipulation from the far ancient world to the present day.
The Illuminati gained their initial knowledge from secret teachings of the pharaohs, as well as magician books taken from the Holy Land during the Crusades. With this knowledge in hand, they created certain mystery schools that played a prominent role in the mass control of the hearts, minds, and status of the people. The members of these mystery schools were exposed to some of the darkest secrets of the Illuminati. This included interdimensional communication with demon spirits, known in Islam as jinn. They usually would depict these spirits as serpents or reptiles in their corporation logos or religious architecture. Through such schools, these members were able to create a bond with their jinn counterparts, and through certain procedures and acts would allow the jinn to assist them in rising to the top. As such, they were eventually placed into highly influential positions of leadership.
The head of the World Bank, James Wolfenson, is a member of this network. So is the head of the World Trade Organization. So is the Chancellor of Germany, so is the Prime Minister of Britain, Tony Blair, and a stream of Presidents of the United States, Secretaries of State, the last 6 Secretary Generals of NATO.
A lot of people are familiar with the more famous names that are connected to these secret societies: Henry Kissinger, David Rockefeller, etc., etc. But there are literally hundreds of top-level, very powerful people who are at the inner core of these secret societies.
Again, history repeats itself, and we see the Illuminati implementing the ancient pyramid structure, with they, the elite, on top. They have become in complete control of the religious, monetary, judicial, agricultural, and medicinal aspects of society. By this, no commoner would be able to acquire any service or product without having to go through the system first, to which he would have to pay a great price. Through various methods of medicinal control, wealth distribution, and the creation of eventual debt slaves, the masses became completely dependent on this pyramid. To ensure that the people would not realize how badly they are being oppressed and controlled, the Illuminati put into play the use of magic through different forms in order to keep their people under mind control, thus allowing their system to continue to flourish. Through the contact with demon spirits or jinn, they learned the methods of inserting black magic and mind control into the media through the music, television, and film industries. In addition to that, they have idolized themselves through mainstream media and discovered the valuable technique of the use of repetition to implant certain ideas and beliefs into the subconscious mind of the viewer.
Saddam Hussein, Saddam Hussein,
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam Hussein,
Saddam Hussein.
Saddam, Saddam,
Saddam.
Saddam, 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 Saddam,
Saddam.
Saddam.
Saddam Hussein.
Global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism, global terrorism. Global terrorism, 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 terrorism. The evil terrorists, 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 terrorists,
Terrorist.
terrorists, 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 terrorists.
Through such forms of magical mind control, the Illuminati would eventually shape the values and beliefs of the masses to fit their agendas, ensuring that their project remains successful.
This is no old boy network. This is no, I'll pat your back, you pat mine. This is not, oh, you got the same tie as me, so we're okay. This is a vicious group of interbreeding bloodlines seeking to impose their will and their structure of life upon the global population.
On the back of the dollar bill, there's a seal on this side. It's called the Great Seal of the United States. That's what it's called. It's their seal. Now, behind the seal, this is actually what is behind the Great Seal of the United States, is a pyramid with one eye. If you look, you'll see the pyramid is built except for the top. It's built except for the top. The eye is suspended above the top. It hasn't come down yet. Because they believe until they finished the Masonic project, which is what they say on the bottom, Novus Ordo Seclorum, and then Annuetta Chaptis, he is pleased with our project. In other words, the God they believe in is pleased with our project. What is the project? This is the question. What is the project that this God is pleased with?
What is at stake is more than one small country. It is a big idea, a new world order. And a few people can't control the world. Well, obviously they can and get away with it.
So how did this group eventually come to acquire the secret knowledge of the pharaohs? How did they gain access to this rule book for setting up a pyramid society where the many serve the few? Our journey begins with Philip of Macedonia, father of Alexander the Great. As we follow his bloodline, we find that it eventually connects with the bloodline of Quranic pharaoh Ramses II, through his descendant Cleopatra VII. Moving through ancient Greece and Rome, Emperor Constantine I, the man who established the divinity of Jesus the Messiah, as found in the modern Bible, is also a part of this bloodline. Interestingly enough, the bloodline continues until it gradually moves into France, then into the British royal family. Eventually, one of the descendants of the British royal family moves to America. This incidentally produces the spawn of George W. Bush himself, a descendant of Ramses II. Perhaps the title of the great ancestor as given to Ramses II makes a little bit more sense now.
We know Vice President Dick Cheney and Senator Barack Obama are distant cousins. The New York Post decided to check into the genealogy of President Bush, and his family tree has people talking.
My honor to bring to you the 41st president, a great dad, George H.W. Bush.
We all know his father, but what about his cousins? Check out this family tree, done with research by Ancestry.com. Vice President Dick Cheney is actually a blood relation. He's President Bush's 9th cousin once removed. Cheney's cousin Barack Obama is also Bush's 11th cousin.
And of course, Barack Obama has said he doesn't think he and Cheney are kissing cousins, but Brad Pitt says if it's true, he's in great company.